Leila Mohammed has been looking at what appears to be Professor George Magoha's toughest examination.
Well, precisely, Eunice, this is the toughest, if not one of the toughest tests for a tough-talking professor. And tonight, it is not only George Magoha's answers that are being sought by Kenyans, but the government at large and everyone in the education sector. This is because there have been some underlying factors that are now growing into a mound of underbelly factors that the sector needs to grapple with. Take a look.
There shall be no KCPE for the year 2020. The school calendar of this year will be considered lost due to COVID-19.
With that declaration, the professor deemed the hopes of hundreds of thousands of candidates who had expected to sit the exams later in the year. As this reality sets in for the learners, the motivation of teachers comes to play as well. And it is made a marketplace as some of the issues are long-standing baggage from the past.
The problem is philosophical because we have insisted so much on the rules and the syllabus and the equipment, and we have not seen our teachers as the main resource for education.
The COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise because it has opened a gap that we had not anticipated to see. And therefore, it is now an opportunity for government to proactively engage all stakeholders and have a conversation over very serious matters like infrastructure in schools.
If we could have achieved social distancing, we would have opened schools. But we can't achieve social distancing. That's why we are delaying for the disease to stabilize among us so that it's not as lethal. And so it is not about infrastructure.
One of the main challenges is that of infrastructure, especially in light of the social and physical distancing concerns and demands.
This period that we now have between July and January should be a period which is supposed to be used to help develop the infrastructure in schools, look at the teacher issue.
4, 5. Many are the times schools in wanting conditions have been highlighted, but critics hold that the corresponding reaction has not been matching the needs despite there being resources available. Now with the pandemic dynamic, it becomes an even tougher situation, and more so because the government says it will not bargain on some issues.
Those that do not comply, we are not going to gamble with the health of our children. If we tell you what you must do and you don't do, then you shall not open.
The tough, long-standing dynamics of bridging the gap between the haves and the have-nots is also a drag to recovery process, but now it will take years for some changes to be achieved.
Could meet the demands of the emergent situation has been a real challenge, and the people who have had the brunt of this are mainly the disadvantaged family.
The fact remains that some people are already ahead. So I think that remedy cannot be done now. It has to be done at the end of the system. Involve, seek the opinion of teachers in the field and the communities. Work with them about a way to reopen the schools. This thing cannot be decided from Nairobi.
The government has 6 months to nurse the concerns while looking at how to inject life into the future of education before it ends up at the ICU.